double standards of the world's biggest economy. Once welcomed as the torchbearer of democracy and economic liberty, the United States of America has once again shown the world what it truly stands for: self-interest above all. President Donald Trump's latest move of imposing a 50% tariff on Indian goods and services and tariffs imposed on many countries have not just escalated an economic conflict. Still, it has exposed the ugly politics of America's geopolitical hypocrisy. Why this sudden aggression against India? The whole world understands that self-interest is above all. However, if any country is using this famous political agenda, why does the USA oppose it? The answer lies not in trade deficits or quality standards. The reason is simple. India is trading with Russia, and the US doesn't like it. The world's self-declared guardian of freedom seems to have forgotten that sovereign nations are free to choose their trading partners, allies, and friends. But when has that ever stopped America? Americans are still buying various products from Russia. Why are they purposely hiding it? To conceal the hypocrisy? If it's you, stop it. If it's me, that's fine. Why is that game? After the Ukraine flick. 1. The real agenda behind the tariff war. Trump's administration argues that India's continued trade with Russia violates global sanctions placed after the Ukraine conflict. However, these sanctions are not global. They are Western sanctions led by NATO-aligned nations, not United Nations-backed resolutions. India has never sanctioned any country except Pakistan and recently Bangladesh. The so-called teachers of the subject ethics need education in ethics itself. India has historically shared deep strategic ties with Russia, dating back to the Cold War era. Be it defense cooperation, nuclear energy partnerships, or cultural exchanges, New Delhi and Moscow have stood by each other through changing geopolitical landscapes. In 1971, when Bangladesh was liberated from Pakistan, it was the USA that supported Pakistan, which has been a terror country since its existence. But Russia supported India. When India needed weapons and fighter jets, no Western country stood to support India. Only Russia provided the best-in-class MiG, Jaguar, and Sukhoi. They even established a joint production in India, transferred most of the technology, and allowed missiles made in India to be used as a weapon for it. To expect India to sever such long-standing bonds just because Washington disapproves is not diplomacy. It is economic blackmail. This move is a clear signal. If you don't side with us, India, China, and Russia may consider taking steps to sideline the trades with the US and allies. 2. America first, world last. This incident once again highlights the double standards that the US operates with. It speaks about alliances, democracy, freedom, and global unity. Yet time and again, it has proven that its interests come first, and only its interests. No one else can serve their interest if the USA denies it. This is called bullying. When the US wanted rare earth minerals, it invaded countries under the guise of restoring democracy. When it needed military presence, it signed defense pacts. But the moment a government refuses to act like a puppet, it faces sanctions, propaganda, or worse, engineered regime change. Like one recently happened in Bangladesh. India is only the latest to be targeted. Tomorrow it could be Brazil, South Africa, or Indonesia, any country that dares to think independently. 3. The contradiction, called US foreign policy. Let's look at the more profound hypocrisy. The US claims to fight terrorism and fund anti-terror campaigns globally, but it continues to send billions in aid to Pakistan, a country widely accused of harboring and exporting terrorism. The same nation that hunted down Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad conveniently forgets that he was found in Pakistan, not Afghanistan. Yet Pakistan remains a major non-NATO ally, receives financial aid, and has its debt restructured again and again. The leaders then buy costly mansions outside of Pakistan, and when the time comes, flee to their ready mansions. Pakistan diverts the remaining aid towards terrorism. On one hand, Washington imposes sanctions on Iran for alleged terror links. On the other hand, it sells or donates weapons to Pakistan, a country accused of suppressing dissent and violating human rights. Isn't this the very definition of a double standard? Before, a dark chapter, US meddling in South Asia's internal affairs. And who can forget the heinous political play during Joe Biden's presidency, when the US allegedly backed a plot to carve out a Christian-only state near Bangladesh? The objective was clear: a religious wedge and to control Asian polity, aimed at destabilizing a region already struggling with ethnic tensions. But that plan was thwarted by Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who refused to bow to Washington's covert agenda. That white man, as per Bangladesh PM Sheikh Hasina, wanted St. Martin's Island for that sake. Her strong stand against foreign interference cost her dearly. Soon after, whispers grew louder of US involvement in her political downfall. The installation of Yunus Khan, a so-called caretaker who conveniently allowed terror-linked organizations back into play, reeks of classic American regime change tactics. The result? Mass suffering of Hindus in Bangladesh. There were burnt temples, destroyed homes, looted shops, and worse, rapes and massacres swept under the international rug. The same U.S. that lectures others on minority rights and women's freedom said little on this incident. Why? Is that what they wanted to happen? Political instability? There was no outcry, no sanctions, no emergency summits. Why? Because the game was already won. A temporary puppet government was in place, and the U.S. got what it wanted: influence in a region bordering India and the Bay of Bengal. 5. Selective morality has a price. This is not the first time America's selective morality has caused devastation, nor will it be the last unless the world wakes up. The U.S. has turned human rights into a bargaining chip, freedom into a weapon, and sanctions into a tool of economic colonialism. It wants total obedience, not cooperation. And when that obedience is not given, it lashes out with tariffs, media narratives, puppet regimes, sanctions, etc. India's crime? Choosing to act in its national interest, not Washington's. India will not bow. What Washington fails to understand is that India is no longer the 1990s developing economy desperate for trade crumbs. It is a rising power with influence across Asia, Africa, and even Europe. Its partnerships are diverse, its voice is respected, and its identity is firm. India will not be bullied out of strategic partnerships, especially not with a nation like Russia that has supported it through decades of Western indifference. If the U.S. hopes to force India's hand by economic pressure, it is playing a dangerous game. Because today's India is not isolated. It is backed by BRICS, engaged with ASEAN, building ties with Africa, and even deepening trade with Latin America. One article mentions that 45% of the world's total trade is done by only 3 countries: India, Russia, and China. Imagine if they decide to put just one step to use their currency, i.e. BRICS currency. What will happen to the dollar? How will the world's economy change suddenly? This move may only accelerate the de-dollarization movement, pushing India and other nations further away from the American financial system. 7. The world is watching. In the age of instant communication and global connectivity, America's two-faced policies are no longer hidden. Millions across the globe see the contradictions: preaching peace while funding conflict, promoting freedom while engineering coups, condemning terror while partnering with terror sponsors, punishing trade partners for independence while demanding loyalty in return. The world remembers the massacres in Bangladesh, the broken promises in Afghanistan, the destabilization of Iraq, and now the economic bullying of India and other nations. Conclusion: enough is enough. President Trump's 50% tariff isn't just bad economics, it's bad faith diplomacy. It's a warning sign to every independent country: submit or suffer. But India won't suffer quietly, nor will it stand alone. The global south is rising, the multipolar world is real, and the time has come to expose the double standards of the world's biggest economy. America needs to realize it can no longer dictate. The age of dominance is over. The age of dignity has begun.